So we're talking about leaders, right? And from a leadership perspective, life happens. It's going to happen. But as leaders, we can't let that stop us. That's not our choice. We have to figure out how we continue to move through. How do we address the social ills that those of we're serving, as Kiara does with her students, and how does she prepare them in spite of what she sees happening in the world, right? So don't let what you see, what you hear, what you're experiencing prevent you from being who you're called to be and do what you're called to do. Leaders don't get a choice to stop. There was a study that was found in Inc. magazine, and it was cited by the University of Scranton that 92% people never reach their goal. That's a staggering number, isn't it? 92% of people never, ever reach their goal. And what are the 8% doing? They know their identity, they know they're loved, and they walk in what they've been called to do. 92% of the people walking around are not fulfilling their goals because they don't recognize that they've been chosen for this moment. That's what I was hearing from leaders when I would go and say, what can I do next to be able to grow, to be able to go to that next place, to be able to get promotions, get increases. Oh, just keep doing what you're doing. What? That's not getting me what I want. That's not yielding the results that I need. So write that story and allow it to evolve. That's 3. Number 4, give voice to your story. I cannot tell you how many different people came back to me after my very first book and told me, this really spoke to me. This is my story. I might not have gone through everything that you went through, but I can resonate with that. Now, as a Black woman who was sharing this story, I kind of expected people of color to come back and say that. I did not expect people who are not of color to come back and say those stories to me, honestly. Again, identify who you are and what you're doing and what this change means to you. Be able to communicate well how you are going to move forward. Be honest, integrous. Be accurate about sharing with the people who are going to be impacted by the change to make sure they understand what this means to them. 3, don't be consistent with the vision and the goal. Too often we expand the scope, we change it because we think we need to do something different. No, stick with the plan. Lean into the plan. And 4th, involve the people who are going to be impacted by it. Remember, there is a language, there's behaviors, and there's solutions. And as leaders, we need to always keep those in flow and in balance.
I had the pleasure and privilege to hear Yvette Owens speak this morning with regard to developing yourself as an effective leader. This was a fantastic summit that I was able to be part of here with Naya. Yvette, you are amazing. You have allowed us to have the tools and the keys for us to feel protected, trusted, seen, heard, and thrive in our careers. Thank you so much.
Was in the reading story and the reading time through my book called Conquering Corporate Enemies, Mind, Personalities, and Situations. I invited a team of people, some friends, some colleagues to come and read through the story. Some of you know who've already written books. Sometimes you get people together to have a reading group and just to hear what you wrote out loud. One of the persons that were in the group, her name is Cynthia, and Cynthia said, I admire you for sharing the good stuff and the bad. I admire you for owning your part in where you ended up. And so when we talk about owning our story, it's the whole thing. It's the whole basket of fruit. It's the whole journey that we have to share and own, because it's not always everybody's fault. And when we hear people talk like that, we know that there's still some healing that needs to take place. There's still some change that needs to happen. And so when we do that, it's important that we tell all sides of the story. From my perspective, I am a collaborative leader. And I had to grow into that space, because I had one leader tell me one time, Yvette, you come in with all the answers and you give room for no one else to really add to it. Because if you give me something, I'm going to take it to the farthest end and figure out how it can be done. And then we're done, and we don't move on to the next thing. Why waste time? However, you don't leave room for the greater of the sum of who we all are. It's just the greater of who Yvette is. And so I had to learn that. I had to learn, and really it goes back to what someone else also said, it's about giving time, building in that time for the idea to formulate into something fabulous that I couldn't do on my own. So collaboration is really, really a big part of who I am and how I create things. Now I'm gonna come with an idea, but I've learned to taper that so that I can hear what other people are adding to that space and adding to the idea. And that's why I think the space that I find myself in now about being agile is really a great space for me, because I had to learn to get there.